The worst 48 hours ever? Hello mate, what's going on? And welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that, and welcome back to Chelsea News. This is your daily, I suppose, Chelsea briefing. I'm here every ruddy day for you, mate, to reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts on it for whatever that's worth. But as always, more importantly, asking for yours. And in the wake of Chelsea's very good 2-0 win against Everton, yet another good defensive performance, a clean sheet. Of course, I reacted to that. That match reaction is live now. But Maresca has come out and said some interesting things, you know, in a time where people are saying certain lines that seem very premeditated and calculated, a la Mohamed Salah at the moment. It's very interesting that Maresca came out with these words. I want to talk about his worst 48 hours in terms of lack of support. Does he mean in-house? Does he mean Chelsea fans? I'm not entirely sure. I don't mean this in a bad way, that he cares so much about the fans. I think he sees, look, Chelsea needs to win trophies. I'll win trophies, I'll win the fan support. In the meantime, you know, he'll let his work do the talking. So when he talks about support, I wonder if that's more like in-house. We'll see what Simon Johnson of The Athletic is saying. And then we'll speak a little bit broadly, I think, about Chelsea's Enzo Maresca. Is he the man for the job? Who else would come in? I've spoken already about, of course, how he's been signed up to George Mendes' agency. So he is absolutely a coach that's desired. I know he does this all the time, Guardiola. Well, not always, but he's recently referenced Maresca as one of the best managers in world football. I think, you know, you can take what you like out of that. And he just won Manager of the Month for what was a very good November. But he's been in a turbulent period and he's come out swinging. I do want to speak a little bit more broadly and philosophically about the Chelsea coach. And, you know, all these people are calling for alternatives, which I think would actually and potentially be worse. And that's me speaking as, you know, not a dude who's like besotted with Enzo Maresca. You know, managers falling in love with Jose Mourinho. Antonio Conte, Chelsea fans did fall hard for Conte. I mean, you know, we loved Lampard. Look what's going on with Coventry. It's so easy to love him. Maurizio Sarri, I wouldn't quite put him on as bad as like Rafael Benitez, but he really struggled to connect with Stamford Bridge. I don't think many people cry. I mean, there's some online social media accounts that were sad when he left. I wished him the best of luck. And interestingly, Sarri said the worst decision of his entire managerial career was leaving Chelsea. He said that. Maybe he thought, well, Hazard's out of here, so my job's about to get a lot harder, and I've obviously got a chance to manage Juventus. Remember, Chelsea didn't sack Maurizio Sarri. He walked, and Juventus had to pay Chelsea to get him out of the club. So that's like, it kind of gets lost in the narrative. People just think that Chelsea, because we sacked so many managers, that we sacked Maurizio Sarri. But actually, of course, Abramovich was still in situ at the time. Marina Granovskaya, Chelsea director, she championed the appointment of Maurizio Sarri after watching his exciting Napoli side nearly win the Scudetto. But you know, Abramovich wasn't like, you know, he just got top 3 in the Premier League, which is not bad for a debut season, and he slapped up Arsenal in the Europa League final 4-1. You know, that's good books for Abramovich. He didn't pull the trigger. Sarri walked. And Sarri said he was the biggest mistake of his managerial career. Feel free to go look that up. But we're going to speak about this. I suppose this has been a long introduction, so welcome back. Thank you for supporting my content here on YouTube. You can do so by dropping a like on this video and subscribing if you're yet to do so, because everybody's welcome. And drop those sweet hype points down somewhere underneath my finger. And of course, this daily content is now available on all good podcast platforms, so feel free to follow and 5-star me, because that's a good way of supporting ya boy. Yeah, it's a bit more conversational, this video, as you've probably already gathered. But yes, at time of recording, Chelsea are 4th in the Premier League. We could go 5th, of course, if Crystal Palace beat Man City. Man City, if they beat them, they could go 2 points again behind Arsenal. I tell you what, Arsenal are lucky 2-1 win at home, bro, against Wolves, and there was 2 own goals. 2 own goals. Oh, you got to feel sorry for Wolves. Even just a draw. Even a draw would have had us feasting on, that result, because they've only got 2 points. Wolverhampton Wanderers have 2 points, and if they, got an extra 50% from Arsenal away, it would have been a thing of beauty. And to be fair, bro, if it was 1-1 and then Man City beat Palace, Man City would have gone top because they would have been level on points, but Man City would have obviously, they've got their 1 goal difference behind, so it would have they would have been at least 1 ahead. So yeah, such a shame. Silly, naughty, annoying Wolves, but I tell you what, Arsenal creaking a little bit. Are they creaking? It's a weird Premier League, man. This is what we'll talk about in a moment in terms of where Chelsea are, managerial alternatives, how the Premier League landscape is just crazy at the moment. Right, so we're going to look at this article now. Let's hop over to The Athletic and read what Simon Johnson has said. He said the following: Enzo Maresca has labelled the previous 48 hours as his worst as Chelsea head coach because of the lack of backing him and the team it was an unexpected rant following the win against Everton. A clearly tense Enzo Maresca complained about his treatment, although did not clarify who he was referring to. Chelsea went into the match having failed to win their last 4 matches, of course, including defeats to Leeds United and Atalanta, with a creditable draw, I suppose, with Arsenal, and not the end of the world, the draw with Bournemouth, but, not great. When asked, so this is crazy, yeah? When asked about Malo Gusto scoring and assisting in today's victory, Maresca said the following: "This is the reason why I praise the players, because with so many problems, they are doing well after a complicated week." Okay, so guys, he's been asked about Malo Gusto. He said that, which is kind of related, but then he obviously was looking for a window, didn't get it, so he kicked down the door and converted that answer into the following: "Since I joined the club in the last 48 hours, since I joined the club, the last 48 hours has been the worst 48 hours since I joined the club because many people didn't support us." So very happy for Malo in that moment and the effort from Malo, and he showed up and they want to help the rest of the club. Right, very strange. As you can see here, this is not a support related question. Managers do this, quite often. They'll be like, "So what do you think of Cole Palmer's goal?" "Great. But the directors are knobhead." Do you know what I mean? Like, you sometimes they try and shoehorn it in. It did seem very calculated, very premeditated. Of course, people speak about that sensational Mohamed Salah interview recently, which of course I covered quite closely on the second channel, Football Yannick, if you want to check that out. It's just pretty wild how he was just waiting. When pressed on what he meant, Maresca replied and he said, "It's the worst 48 hours since I've joined the club because people didn't support me and the team." People? Who are these people? Asked if it was an internal issue, or anything with the Chelsea fans, he says, "In general, I love the fans, and I'm very happy with the fans." In general. And yeah, you never go for the fans, of course. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. Of course, you never, you would never, the only person that's ever criticised the fans and sort of got away with it, I think Mourinho did at Chelsea, but recently is Guardiola. Every now and again, he'll dig out, the Etihad and the Man City support. And he kind of can do, because he's been the best manager in the world for ages. And he's won them loads of trophies. So I don't think they've liked it, the City fans at times, but in terms of getting away with it, do you know what I mean? But you'd never take on the fans. That is peculiar. The Chelsea victory lifted them up into the top 4, yada, yada, yada. We could, of course, been 5th by the time the weekend is out, the game week, but that's still Champions League positioning. Startling and bizarre, this has been, called here on The Athletic. It is, isn't it? I almost certainly think this is an internal thing. Like, what does he mean by no? Should we get conspiratorial and theoretical here for a little bit of fun? Because all you can think of is hierarchy and sporting directors. But what we've been briefed by the mainstream footballing media for so long now. I'm just going to pause the recording and sip my coffee. That's better. I was going to say, what we've been briefed by, like, the mainstream footballing media at large, or, like, you know, The Athletic and who we're reading off here, what we're reading off here, is that they really like Maresca. They signed him on a 5-year contract, which is much more, you know, than Poch. They gave Poch a 2-year deal. Do you know what I mean? Poch was like clearly like a placeholder for, you know, it was a marriage of convenience at the time. And, you know, I think it served both of them for the 1 year, even though they were like, yeah, this ain't going to work. Ultimately, we got sort of Europe, and it was sort of okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was better than Potter. But yeah, Maresca, they looked at him, they were like, right, this is me sort of being a little bit playful here, but clearly the Chelsea hierarchy really fancy themselves, didn't they? And they're like, yeah, we know how to find your Estevaos, your Cole Palmers, we're getting the best in class for this guy, and we see a spark here in Maresca. Like, no other big club would hire Enzo Maresca from Leicester City, but Chelsea did, because we're a little bit clever. And to be fair to them, it looked clever. After the first season, you know, say the line, Conference League, Club World Cup, top 4 finish, big success. You know, certain players playing well under him, and, you know, ultimately navigating it, and him seemingly caring, not being too passive, sort of getting the odd, you know, getting the red card this season at Liverpool, showing a bit of passion in pre-season, grabbing his nuts to that person who was giving him jib. showing a bit of Chelsea manager charisma. You know, it looked like it was smart, and his stock is up significantly, yeah. And like I said, it was reported that he signed on to the agency of George Mendes, because if he wants to get another job, he'll have plenty of suitors. That's what the streets are saying, as it were. But the idea is he's got this 5-year contract, and and he won't be reviewed until the first 2 seasons are complete. You know, we're not even halfway through season 2. So in theory, if we are to believe these reports, he should not worry about support. He should not worry about whatever he's moaning about, because he thinks, well, I mean, if this is true, you know, what do we even know to believe anymore? You know, at the end of season 2, they'll go, right, first season, check. Second season, are you trending in the right way? Data points. Are the players happy with you? Are you behaving well? Are you not saying about 48 hours negative support in media? I mean, I'm sure that's probably a red cross. Because when Maresca joined Chelsea, we were told a bunch of things, yeah. We were told some things that didn't come to pass, that he was this dogmatic guy who's never going to change how he plays. He did show he will change how he plays, and it helped us in certain games, most notably the Club World Cup final, slapping up PSG. He's actually set up really well in individual high-profile games against good opposition. So he's shown he's not this Maurizio Sarri ball, or deaf. Do you know what I mean? He's shown that he will change, which is great. Yeah, this is great. So that was something negative we expected. We actually got a positive thing. But one thing that was told to us from his Leicester days that has rung true is he is this sort of strong, sort of stubborn character. I don't want to say arrogant, because I think there's a humble nature to how he realises, you know, this is his first season as a manager. This is the first time he's had a second season as a manager. He's not young, he's 45, he's 46. That is a very inexperienced green manager. So do we, as Chelsea fans, or as people in the footballing community at large, go, he's allowed some slack because he's just not had the experience yet? Do you say, sure, he's allowed some slack, but not at Chelsea? Do you know what I mean? Clearly there's someone who's upset him, hitting the mic stand there, in the club. Something's happened there, and he wanted to get a message out. Is that sensible? Probably not. I would dare to say almost certainly not. And it made me actually want to use this content to talk about Chelsea generally. We're not the same club as we used to be, for better or for worse. I do think winning trophies is the ultimate Chelsea thing, and being a team in togetherness. And to the credit of the club as a whole, we've moved closer towards that than we've been in the last few years. I've spoken recently about, you know, the captaincy relationship between Fernandes and, you know, James on the pitch. Granted, Enzo Fernandez's form has dropped off, but he's still a good player. There is this togetherness. We seem to be building this formidable defence. You know, Wesley Fofana, right? You know, you guys know I adore. Chalobah's playing so well in the left centre-back role. Kukuraya and Reece James are mustard. They're really good. And we're through the looking glass now, because Robert Sanchez is looking like he could be good enough to be a Chelsea goalkeeper. So things are looking up in that sense. You know, it's not like a brothel at the back like Pochettino's Chelsea where everyone could score. Things are better. Things are better, and we've recently lifted some silverware. So it feels a little bit more Chelsea. But of course, the model is different. There's a lot of young players coming in and out. Abramovich would have just bought Osimhen and given him the wages, and we would be different in that sense. Maybe that threatens existentially what they're building. Like if you bring in Osimhen, give him high wages, then all the other kids get upset. Then suddenly, 6 months down the line, this one exception that you made actually has ruined everything, and it's no longer sustainable. You know, I don't know. You know, you expect. I'm playing devil's advocate there, mate. Do you know what I mean? So it is different Chelsea. So if certain Chelsea fans are upset with Maresca and they think, look, he's done all right, but he's not for me. Basically, you hear them on like calling on Talk Sport. There was some geezer asking for Lampard to come back for a third time because he's doing so well for Coventry. I am not against Frank Lampard managing Chelsea again one day. I adore Frank Lampard. Hold on. Here you go. Here it is. Lampard 8, back of the shirt. I adore Frank, and I would have nothing against him coming back, but not now. Let him. He's doing amazing at Coventry. Let him continue. He's so studious. I believe in like his brain to just get better, and I don't judge him on that interim spell at Chelsea, but I don't think he's, you know, ready to come back and be the guy yet. I think Chelsea, if they, for example, sacked Maresca, he would go somewhere else and he would be an excellent coach for the next 5-7 years somewhere. You know, it'd probably be like a bit. I was joking recently. I said I see him at Atletico Madrid or a Juventus because, of course, he speaks obviously Italian but Spanish as well. And then you got Chelsea fans calling for Andone Iraola. I know his team got decimated when last season they played well, but his Bournemouth team, which still have really good players in, are 14th in the Premier League. I'm not saying if I'm a Maresca inner as things stand, but if he for some reason decided I'm leaving, bye, then I wouldn't. And then someone said, "Yeah, and who do you want?" I wouldn't go, Iraola. I'd go, "Yeah, cool. What a good candidate to be potentially Chelsea manager." But I do not look at 14th place. You know, Bournemouth, they got -3 goal difference, you know, behind the likes of Fulham and Sunderland and Brighton and Everton and Palace and all these teams, and think, yeah. A lot of people are saying Oli Glasner, who of course he's having an excellent time with Palace. Do you want a 3-4-3 system in the Premier League? I've actually been pretty consistent. I think the last time you could win the league playing a 3-back system, like a proper, not like our hybrid, like a proper 3-4-3, was when Conte won it. And then after that, it was, 2017 was the cap on that. And then that was done. I think actually it can make you really good and obviously qualify for Europe. That's why I think it was smart for Man United, because they were so word, that actually, if Amorim sorts out the 3-back system, he could make them a consistent top 6 finisher with it. I just don't think it's a Premier League winning formation. So that being said, I don't think Oli Glasner. But again, if Chelsea lost their manager tomorrow, I would look at your Iraolas, your Oli Glasners. He's having a terrible time at Real Madrid. I'd sniff out Xabi Alonso. If Liverpool are going to give Slot as much chance and loads of goodwill, I'd say, because Xabi Alonso, if you can get a team to buy in and work hard, they play well, but he's not a Galactico whisperer like Zidane or Ancelotti, so he's having loads of trouble over at Real Madrid. That's who I'd actually throw the bag at. I'd be like, yeah, these Chelsea players would work hard, they'll listen to you, they're not going to be like, I'm Vinny Jr., I'm not going to do this. So I think he'd suit us a lot more. Anyway, I don't want Maresca to be sacked. I just wanted to reflect on the Premier League landscape. And you need to remember as well, guys, we are playing in a way now where Chelsea are a multi-club model. You know, the manager needs to know players will go on loan to Strasbourg. You'll inherit players to Strasbourg. You'll play in a similar way to Strasbourg. To be honest, the truth is, if Maresca got sacked, they'd hire Liam Rosenior. There you go. Then hire the Strasbourg manager. That's probably what will happen. Let's be real. Yeah, so it's a weird club to manage. You're very much just a head coach, but you need to understand the multi-club model. Of course, they're going to try and buy Santos, a Portuguese club, a Belgian club as well. And it's a new brave dawn. Like it or hate it or love it or whatever. It's where we're at. But very peculiar comments from Maresca, and hopefully everything just settles down, we continue winning, we get a nice top 4-5 finish, and who knows, win a trophy this season, and not disgrace ourselves in the Champions League. That, for me, is job done. We'll see what happens. But let me know what you think. Please do leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be delighted to have them. Thank you for supporting the content, for liking, subscribing, sharing, following, 5-starring, all that sweet gear, mate. And I hope to see you back here soon.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.